Everyone mentioned today is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and everything I discuss here is theory until proven fact, even if it is. Hey guys, how you going? Don't mind me, I'm looking at the weather. And not even my weather, Thredbo's weather and Charlotte's Pass and Cancoburn and Jindabyne. No, we're waiting for storms to come through, so I'm up here somewhere. See, this is where it snows in Australia the most, okay? Around these areas. Where am I? Oh, up here. Okay, I'm around the mountains here somewhere. Oh, don't do that. We're about to get some storms, so that's why I'm not going live. Or at least they tell us we're going to get some storms. I don't know. I don't trust them anymore. There you go. Okay, let's go over to my bookmarks, which I'm not prepared at all this morning. Had another very early morning. I've been up since 4 a.m. Okay, Nick Sautor said President Trump is building an entirely new 90,000 square foot wing of the White House with $200 million privately funded. Okay, $200 million. Jerome Powell is renovating the Federal Reserve building with $3.1 billion, over 15 times the cost of Trump's project. What is actually happening at the Fed? They building underground bunkers, or are they trying to cover something up, or what's going on here? Apparently there's going to be a new White House wing with a new White House ballroom. Look how massive that is. And yet, what are the Federal Reserve doing? Who knows? Look, it's all covered up. Looks like something they don't want people to know. I'll let you hazard a guess on what's going on here. Nick Sautor said, holy crap, President Trump just bodied a fake news reporter at the White House. Reporter said, why didn't you invoke the 1977 law to impose tariffs in your first term? And Trump said, because in my first term I was fighting lunatics like you. He's on fire. Mike Benn said Hillary Clinton's guilty of criminal conspiracy, conspiring with intelligence and White House officials to violate the CIA's charter and Executive Order 12333, explicitly prohibiting the agency from conducting intelligence operations against US citizens within the United States. Good. Catch 'em. Catch 'em, get 'em, lock 'em up. Not good that they did that. I mean, good that, they're caught. Catherine Herridge said a long-awaited John Durham annex has been declassified, a lot to unpack. Focus, pages 4 and 5, 2 pages you should not miss. 2016 memorandum in Russian alleges coordination, top DNC leadership, Clinton outside groups to damage candidate Trump, suggests foreknowledge, FBI and CIA involvement. A two-pronged DP opposition is focused on discrediting Trump through debates and propaganda activities based upon his weak points, such as his uncontrollable temperament, questionable instances in business dealings, absence of diplomatic skills, lack of political experience. Among other things, the Clinton staff, with support from special services, is preparing scandalous revelations of business relations between Trump and the Russian mafia. Okay, DNC predicts a certain Clinton victory in this current presidential campaign. The impressive results of Donald Trump are dividing the Republican Party elite, which find itself in near panic conditions. Oh, really? Something blank blank, right? With regard to the discussion in the last paragraph of this memorandum, the scandalous revelation that the Clinton staff was preparing with support from special services, the words that FBI linguists translated as special services are Russian words that one analyst believed at the time referred to the FBI and CIA, or more broadly, to to the intelligence and law enforcement communities. Another analyst, caveating that it was speculation, said that perhaps the phrase special services in this context could refer to Trump dossier author Christopher Steele, who, according to media experts and Steele's own testimony in UK legal proceedings, formerly worked as intelligence professional for the British government. In addition, the office has determined that at the time of his memorandum, Glenn Simpson's firm, Fusion GPS, was in fact preparing open source opposition research regarding Trump's purported ties to Russian oligarchs. There you go. Completely and utterly fabricated. Lock them up. And this one with it. Katie said the e-safety, this has got to do with the whole world right now, okay, what she's doing. Katie, the e-safety commissioner is an unelected bureaucrat, a plant of the WEF. She's been involved with the WEF in various capacities, including being named of one of the Agile 50, the world's most influential leaders, revolutionising government by the WEF, serving on the WEF's Digital Safety and Metaverse Committee, speaking at WEF events such as the annual meeting in Davos in 2024. Now you know why the e-safety commissioner has so much unchecked power to create her own policies. They are not hers, they are the WEF's. Okay, she's a puppet, another puppet for the WEF. She might as well have strings attached, mate. Well, she does, you know. But yes, this is affecting the whole world. Okay, just wait and see. Katie said the e-safety commissioner banned YouTube for under 16s based on a survey showing 3% of children were bullied on the platform, though children are twice as likely to be bullied via text messages. Australian people need to wake up. This is not about protecting children. No, it's not. This is about control. Okay, that's all they want. They want the control because it's going to make sure that they know who we are. Okay, so they can come after us. And there may come a time when I'm not uploading on YouTube anymore because I can't. But I'll be uploading to Rumble if I can still do that. I don't know. It's not supposed to start till December. But I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. I think it's going to fall apart. It already is. There's people going at them left, right and centre. Okay, End Wokeness said breaking surveillance video released of a migrant abducting a girl in a mall in Fairfax, Virginia.
Realized she'd walked out. Her mother actually happened to be in the store that the suspect...
Sorry, that might be a bit echoey because I don't have headphones on, but I'll just put it in full screen so that you can see. This is the man here. Looks like they caught him, I hope. Crazy. Rob Smith said, hi folks, just reminding you that taxpayers fork out $58.9 billion a year on Indigenous only funding here in Australia. Between state and federal funding, $58.9 billion per year. I'm curious as to where the money goes. Works out to be $161 million per day every day. $161 million per day every day. Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, we need an audit of where that all goes. I'm pretty sure they're pocketing it. Australians versus the agenda, said Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke has confirmed he had dinner with Kash Patel in Sydney earlier this week during a secretive visit that was not publicly disclosed by either the US or Australian governments. Very, very interesting. Hopefully Kash Patel's given him, what for? Is Alexander Downer wanted for questioning over the Russiagate hoax? Yeah, I want to know too. Matrix Mysteries said the Amish have just a 4% obesity rate, 9 times lower than most Americans. They break every diet rule, yet they're leaner, stronger and healthier than 96% of America. In a world drowning in health advice, why does rejecting it work so well? Here are 10 Amish lifestyle secrets. We'll have a look. Amish men walk 18,425 steps a day, women 14,196. That's 3 to 4 times more than the average American who barely cracks 5,000. No fitness trackers, no gym memberships. They're not chasing health. Their way of living simply creates it. Here's how. Number 1, their food isn't poisoned. Home-raised meats, vegetables still warm from the sun, bread baked the same day it's eaten. The 4-hour rule, vegetables are picked and eaten before they lose their vitality. Sugar swap. No refined sugar, only honey or maple to keep blood sugar stable. No macros, no labels, just real food, the way it's always meant to be. They don't just eat for fuel, they eat for resilience. Fermented foods like sauerkraut keep their guts strong and their immune system sharp. 3 tablespoons of fermented vegetables before every meal to feed good bacteria and aid digestion. 8 ounces of bone broth daily for collagen, minerals and lasting mobility. No supplements, no trends, just traditions that modern science is finally catching up to. Effortless movement built into daily life. They're not chasing step counts. Movement simply happens. Farming, building and chores keep them in motion from childhood to old age. 100 steps outdoors before breakfast. 12 minutes of dough kneading for upper body strength. Never sitting more than 20 minutes without moving. No workouts, no exercise goals, just a life that never stops moving. They eat their biggest meal when the sun is highest. Midday eating isn't a trend. It matches the body's natural rhythm, when digestion is at its peak. Main meal between 11:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. No drinks 20 minutes before, during or after eating. This isn't just an Amish habit. In most of Europe, lunch is still the largest meal of the day. Research shows it leads to steadier energy, deeper sleep and metabolism that runs like clockwork. They live almost entirely off screen. No TVs, no smartphones, no endless scrolling. They wake up naturally between 4:30 and 5 a.m. without alarms. Yes, so do I. Step into the morning sun to reset their internal clock, not till it rises. I'm awake before the sun rises. Because we're in the dark of winter, you know. Sorry guys, I have to cough. Okay, the result, deep sleep, clear minds and a kind of calm most of us forgot was possible. They treat the kitchen like a pharmacy. Canning, pickling, fermenting, nothing is rushed and nutrients stay intact. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar 15 minutes before meals, dandelion leaves before sweets to support digestion. These small quiet rituals turn every meal into medicine. They live almost untouched by modern toxins. No cars, so cleaner air. No processed foods, so fewer synthetic chemicals. Amish children even show lower asthma rates thanks to daily life on the farm. Their environment isn't engineered, it's simply clean and their health reflects it. Purpose is their fountain of youth. They don't retire. Work has meaning, whether it's farming, building or serving their community, and they keep at it well into old age. 63% less muscle loss compared to those who stop working. 42% better cognitive function from staying mentally and physically engaged. Staying useful keeps their body strong and their mind sharp. Purpose is their true longevity hack. I've got a cough again, guys. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, really bad timing for a tickle in the throat. Staying useful keeps their body strong, their mind sharp. Purpose is their true longevity hack. They sleep in sync with nature. Bed by 9 p.m, up around 4:30 a.m. No alarms, no blue light, no late night chaos. A small cylindrical pillow for proper spinal alignment. Evenings without screens, just conversation and prayer. This simple rhythm fuels deep restorative sleep and balances hormones. They are never alone. Family, faith and community are the centre of their world and it shows. Rates of depression and anxiety are far lower than average. Modern research now confirms what they've always known: stronger social bonds, lower stress hormones, protect brain health and can even extend lifespan. The Amish aren't counting steps or tracking calories. They simply live closer to how humans were meant to live. Real food, real work, real community. We've traded that for ultra-processed foods, endless screens and convenience that costs us our health. This isn't about doing more, it's about living in a way that isn't quietly poisoning us. Thanks for reading. You could always go to Matrix Mysteries on X and follow them. Michael Arbon said, following Senator Babette's win on Tuesday, with everyone except Labor backing his motion against digital surveillance disguised as child protection, he and Senator Roberts are stepping up the fight today. They'll move to establish a Senate inquiry into Internet Search Engine Services Online Safety Code. If successful, the committee will investigate the heads of authority provided by the Online Safety Act 2021, the scope and accountability of the E-Safety Commissioner, how to ensure proper parliamentary oversight, the impacts on freedom of speech and press with comparisons to the UK and EU, and any other related issues. Australians didn't vote for a digital surveillance state. It's time to pull back the curtain. How will the Senate vote? Only time will tell. Come on, guys. And some advice from Claire Willis Harrison. If you get asked to verify yourself online to view something, simply don't. All it takes is for tens of millions of people to repeatedly disengage from doing it and the whole thing falls apart. Never authenticate yourself to view online content. I had to verify on YouTube a few weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, sorry. And I had to provide a photo of my licence to continue. Interesting, isn't it? Now I realise. Wow. Oz Integrity said breaking Labor government demands backdoors and into encrypted messaging apps. Whittaker Signal, President said they'd exit Australia before giving access. Our commitment to end-to-end encryption remain maintaining robust, technically guaranteed privacy for everyone who uses Signal never wavers. Signal boss warns Apple will exit Australia if forced to hand over users' encrypted messages. Okay, so there we go. If I lose signal, I apologise. There's not much I can do about it. Mick Amias said break-ins are the new norm in Australia with the mass immigration waves we're seeing. When they break in, you're essentially meant to board yourself and your family in a room, call police and sing Kumbaya. Reality is that Australians don't have adequate means to protect themselves because if they were to use a legally owned firearm, there's a good chance they themselves could be charged unless the circumstance, without a doubt, proved they're using it to defend themselves and their family. But then secondly, where your gun safe is may present an issue for you to go and obtain the gun, especially when you have to have the gun disassembled and put in one safe, and if you have bullets, they have to be in a different safe. Work that out. How are you going to do? Someone's home invading you, right? They've broken into your home. You want to go for your gun, right? It's all in pieces. Your bullets are in a different safe. How long do you think it's going to take you to put that together? Okay? It's a big issue. We don't have the same laws as Americans do to defend ourselves, and some will say this is a good thing until it's their family and them that had their home broken into or assaulted. At minimum, Australians should have cast a law which allows people to use reasonable force, including deadly force, to defend themselves against intruders in their home. This isn't rocket science. Australians should have a right to be able to defend themselves adequately without having the risk of being potentially charged and sent to jail over it. I wouldn't care. I would get charged and sent to jail over it. If I have to, I am going to protect myself in my home. Okay, and you can say, I'll ring the police. The police are going to... Seconds count when police are minutes away. Let me tell you that much right now. If you've ever been in a situation where someone has broken your door down to get in your house, it happens like within seconds. Okay? You don't want to find out the hard way. I'd rather be armed than not be armed and find out the hard way. Okay? Just let me tell you that much. Alexandra Marshall said Grok lists publications that print warnings about COVID vaccine safety and lockdowns as untrustworthy and peddling disinformation. When you point out that the articles were factual and later confirmed by both governments and the manufacturers, Grok admits that it should have taken this into consideration. But it doesn't, and it never updates. It flags it as false information and forever tarnishes its view of a publication. Despite claims of learning, it doesn't learn. It defects to state-sanctioned consensus every time, which means news sources that print the truth when it's contrary to government propaganda are perceived as untrustworthy by AI. And we're supposed to believe these programs are a benefit to humanity? Are they serious? AI is not as smart as they think it is. Okay, more on this moron. Evil moron, this one. Sky News Australia said E-Safety Commissioner Julian Mann-Grant has narrowly avoided facing the scrutiny of a Senate inquiry as Labor moved to block a parliamentary investigation into her power. Apparently the Greens were also on side. Okay, that was by Sky News Australia. I don't want to like it. I'm not going to like it. They're not as good as people think they are. Clandestine said, do you see what's happening? We're being briefed. Trump and his team already know where this trail ends. They're giving it to the public in digestible chunks. This is not being done flippantly. The rollout is coordinated. The ramifications of this are colossal. Trump would not have committed to a move of this magnitude unless he already had victory securely in hand. Trump would not have instructed Tulsi to begin this rollout if they did not know the outcome. This is about the Russia, Obama, all that. They're not just finding this information. Trump knew the entire time. This is just the public rollout phase. Trump's been waiting for the proper time to strike, and he only would have struck if he believed victory was guaranteed. The fact that there is structure and coordination to this rollout leads me to believe it is happening. Trump and his team are carefully briefing the public and preparing us for what must be done. I happen to agree. Very much so. Now, NAS has said big changes coming to America's broken healthcare system. Trump's Maha Commission dropped 3 bold strategies the media ignored. He even stunned pharma execs with a major threat. Since no one's talking about it, here's what really happened. The statistics are terrifying. Over 40% of American kids now have at least one chronic health issue. But here's the number that stopped Trump cold during the White House briefing. Autism rates, 1 in 10,000 children just decades ago. Today, 1 in 31 children. Trump's exact words, there's something wrong, it has to be artificially induced. Has to be. This is where the real story begins. The Maha Commission delivered their report in exactly 98 days. 4 root causes identified: ultra-processed foods, environmental toxins, chronic stress and inactivity, and over-medicalisation of children. You know what that means, don't you? To solve that, Trump has 3 distinct strategies. Strategy 1, attack the food system. Trump approved SNAP waivers to remove junk food from food stamps. Nebraska signed, Indiana signed, and Iowa signed. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, this has never happened before under Republican or Democrat administrations. But wait, there's more. The FDA is now phasing out 8 common artificial food dyes, and they're targeting something called GRAS oversight, a system that lets food companies self-regulate their own additives. The food industry is quietly panicking. Strategy 2, the pharmaceutical shock. On May the 12th, Trump signed the most favoured nation executive order. His demand, drug companies have 30 days to match the lowest prices paid anywhere in the world or face mandatory price cuts of 50 to 89%. Trump's exact threat to pharma CEOs: we pay the lowest country anywhere in the world, and that's what we're going to be paying. If they don't do it, we're going to not do business with that country or those countries. The industry called it their nightmare scenario. Here's what most people miss. Trump isn't just threatening the companies. He's threatening entire countries that give their citizens cheap drugs while Americans pay 10 times more. His leverage, trade wars, tariffs, export restrictions, this changes everything. The current system. Europe pays $20 for a drug. America pays $240 for the same drug. Big Pharma keeps total profits. Trump system, everyone pays $130. Americans save $110. Europeans pay $110 more. Big Pharma profits stay the same. He's not destroying the industry, he's just distributing the burden globally. Strategy 3, institutional capture. Trump entered the most serious conflicts of interest at the FDA. RFK Jr. is leading a government-wide assault on corporate influence and health agencies. The plan, make every health decision based on independent science, not industry funding. But here's the masterstroke most missed. This isn't just about health policy. It's economic warfare disguised as public health reform. Trump is forcing a global redistribution of pharmaceutical profits while claiming to protect American families. The timeline is aggressive. The Maha Commission strategy is due in 82 days. Drug price negotiations started immediately. New dietary guidelines before fall of 2025. Pharmaceutical import restrictions being reviewed. Every major health agency is now coordinated under this plan. Early results are already showing consumer prices dropping, multiple states requesting SNAP waivers, countries lining up to negotiate after tariff announcements. Drug company stocks initially dropped, then recovered as investors realised the complexity. Trump positioned this as a Make America Healthy Again. Who can argue against healthy children? But underneath it's the most aggressive restructuring of healthcare economics in decades. Even his critics can't oppose the protecting kids from toxic food. What happens next will determine if this becomes the biggest healthcare transformation since Medicare, or crashes into the same legal challenges that stopped similar attempts in his first term. Either way, the pharmaceutical industry will never be the same. And if you like this, please follow Nasdaq AI. Oh, that wasn't AI, was it? Oh, God. Okay, Val said, what happened to Ellen DeGeneres? Oh, my goodness. Holy cow. What happened? She turned into a man. I don't know. Must be that chrome stuff. Batman said, I can see this e-safety age verification thing ending up in court. It will become a complete shit show. I agree. I agree. Save America said, breaking, the White House announces the US is holding all aid to Ukraine. Do you support this decision? Yes, I'm sure I do. Okay, now back to Australia. RM said, leaked letter. Now take this with a grain of salt. I don't know if it's real. Senator Katie Gallagher's office confirms Centrelink are paying $4,327 to women who abort unborn babies after 20 weeks. The eligibility criteria for stillborn baby payment do not exclude circumstances where the stillbirth was due to a medical termination, including an intentional abortion. This woman is evil. Absolute evil moron. And honestly, she looks horrible because she's evil. Okay? That makes her look very ugly. Anyway, to me, anyway. I don't know about you guys, but when you're evil, you just look so ugly. It's not nice. John Ruddock, MLC, said Australia's longest-serving foreign minister was Alexander Downer. Okay, he's caught up in this Russia. Okay? That's why he's coming back to the surface, I believe. Mr. Downer has written in The Australian. He's got an article in there. Why Javier Milei is today's most exciting politician. The most interesting world leader today is President Javier Milei of Argentina. For years, Argentina ran what was called the Peronist economic model. Jeez, Hev. Familiar to many Australians because we're increasingly applying it ourselves. It involves ever-increasing government expenditure on welfare, massive budget deficits, the empowerment of a select few trade union leaders, propping up loss-making industries and increased taxes, especially on industrious, creative entrepreneurs who produce goods and services people really want. As always, the results were catastrophic. Then came Javier Milei, a congressman and candidate for the Ley Libertad Avanza Alliance. He promised a radical, economically rational program to restore the country. The public believed he was genuine and full of conviction. They took a punt on him. He promised big cuts to government spending, sweeping deregulation and slashing of power from vested interests in unions and large corporate stakeholders. He promised the most fascinating liberal economic experiment the world had seen in a long time. Now, just under 2 years later, we can see the results. First, Milei reduced government expenditure by roughly 30% in year one. Subsidies for energy and transport were phased out. What is he writing in here? Australia has been well governed over the past century, but we're drifting towards Peronism, state control, union power, endless spending deficits, public debt. We must heed me, Ellie. I think there's something wrong with you, mate, too. Yeah. Does he know about, like, Alexander Downer? Yep. There you go. Someone said it. Alexander Downer, really? This muppet was in it up to his eyeballs with the 2016 Russia treason to bring down Trump. If this is a person you need to highlight Miele's achievements, then you've lost before you've started. Yeah, when will the Papadopoulos thing catch up with him? People are very bored with ex-politicians gallivanting around with impunity. If I was Downer at the moment, I'd be organising my fake death and passports, but hey, I love his positive outlook, although somewhat diluted. He did. Yep. Yeah, he's not anyone to look up to, so I'm not going to like that post. Frank McCormick said, I have a theory about homeschooling that may be controversial. What if it's absolutely nothing to do with the quality of instruction rather than the kids simply vastly benefit from having their parents to be the centre of their universe until adolescence? Is this not how we evolved for millions of years? All around me I see well-intentioned parents pushing their kids into strangers' arms as young as they can. Preschool, extracurriculars, playdates outside the home, babysitters, activities, etc. It's as if they believe that what children need is not to have parents as their primary mode of interaction, but lots of socialisation outside the family and activities. I had a childhood somewhat like this and remember developing a lot of anxiety, sadness and fear surrounding separation. Compare this to how I've raised my son, who admittedly is with us 95% of the time outside of school, which may seem excessive, is incredibly well adjusted, confident and happy, compared to where I was at his age. Here comes another cough. Obviously, I'm working with a very limited data set and a lot of speculative imagination, but it's always been a mystery to me how parents with no educational qualifications produce better adjusted children than those who go to schools, good schools. And I'm starting to wonder if perhaps there's a strong and enduring effect on the brain to the simplest of all truths. Children should be with their immediate families for the majority of the time until they're ready to branch out, which typically happens around adolescence. What do you think? And I'm just going to wrap it up real quickly with this one. Josh Hawley's introduced a bill to ban stock trading and the room lit up. He doesn't own stock himself. We've seen the former Speaker of the House make millions of dollars of profits. We've seen members of both parties, I'm sad to say, be investigated for their stock trades. And the reason for all of this, that quite frankly, members of this body are privy to information a normal person's not. Senator Rick Scott of Florida asked how you're supposed to sell a liquid asset. Senator Hawley said, you're concerned about the illiquid asset provision? It's the same one you voted for last year. Senator Johnson of Wisconsin, that rhymes. You could relabel this law the Career Politician Protection Act because it will make it so unattractive for people to give up their businesses. We have plenty of protections. We have the disclosure. This is a completely unnecessary piece of legislation. Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky. If this is a great bill, if this is the greatest thing since sliced bread and it's really necessary, it should apply to Donald Trump. But the fact that they don't want to apply it to Donald Trump means it's a really crummy bill. I will oppose the substitute change because I think it should apply to everybody or nobody. Senator Hawley clears up some misconceptions. The terms of the bill will take effect upon the beginning of the next term. It's the same treatment for all office holders. Members of the House, it will take effect upon the beginning of their next term if they're re-elected. Members of the Senate will take effect upon the beginning of their next term if re-elected. The President and Vice President will take effect on the beginning of their next term, and so on. Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan, we have a problem. To address that, I'm willing to make the good work instead of waiting for the perfect. So, of course, I want the President and Vice President to be held accountable, but I think it's important we at least make a start. Senator Johnson cleared the record and said he does not trade stocks himself. I agree with the spirit of this. We have too many career politicians. We don't have enough people who have experience in the private sector. We need more. We need to encourage them, not discourage them. This piece of legislation will be hugely discouraging to people from the private sector coming here and serving. Now the fun begins. Hawley, for those who know ahead of time they're going to join this body, they can no longer use qualified blind trusts. The reason for that, as you, Senator Langford, know, the rules on qualified blind trusts are not airtight. They're actually very loose. It's very difficult to police, and you don't police them in the Ethics Committee. Senator Moreno of Ohio. Senator, with all due respect, sending something out Friday through some random computer system is also disrespectful to people in this committee. Oh, just eat it up, mate. Geez, suck it up, buttercup. Senator Gary Peters of Michigan. Senator, we do use computers in the Senate. I know that might be kind of weird for you, but we do use those. Moreno said, Mr. Peters, if you want to have a who knows more about technology battle, let's have that battle. I know more about technology in my pinky than you do. God love that old Ohio, Michigan hate. Anyway, the bill ended up passing committee. It's on its way to the Senate floor. Hawley was the only Republican yes vote. Yes, it should be. Like Nancy Pelosi, making all that money. President Trump was asked about the bill. He said, well, I like it conceptually. I don't know about it, but I like it conceptually. Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with a husband. I think that's disgraceful. Okay, if you want to follow Anna Matson on X. And Senator Babette said might be heading to the States soon. Should I swing by DC? Yes, you should. Someone should. Because Albo and Kevin Rudd won't meet. Oh, well, Donald Trump, I don't blame him. He won't meet with Kevin Rudd, who is our American ambassador, or ambassador to America, who's called Trump all sorts of names. So is our Prime Minister. Okay, I don't blame Donald Trump. Donald Trump Jr. said incredible news. Remember when we were told it was going to be the Great Depression? Instead, America's absolutely crushing it, no longer being taken advantage of, and this is what winning looks like. Second quarter, 2Q. GDP just out, 3%, way better than expected. Too late, must now lower the interest rate. No inflation, let people buy and refinance their homes. Okay, and this one, on the social media ban in Australia. Okay, check out the comments section in Jason Clare's post. Almost 1,000 comments with 99% of them ripping him a new one. The great fight back has started in Australia. Australians are waking up quickly, and this has nothing to do with protecting children. It's all about surveillance and coercive control. This is our last stand. If E-Safety Karen wins, Australia's changed forever. Now, look at this. This is actually his post, Jason Clare, and look at it. He's been ratioed. Okay, there's one that's more likes than he's got, more likes. Oh, there's a lot of them. He's been overliked by the comments. Okay, it's not your job. Get out of it. Stay in your lane. It's up to the parents. Parents should be parenting, not the government. Okay, and also just on that note, with the E-Safety Commissar, Alexandra Marshall said, as warned, the Australian government is discussing measures to ensure VPNs cannot be used to circumnavigate ease restrictions and identity verification for the internet. To all those who shrugged and said it'll be fine, no, it won't be fine. But the kids are already finding a way around it, apparently. Okay, and Francie Nancy, the full Australian, I don't know what the full Australian Federal Court is. I thought it was High Australian Court, and that's it. I don't know who this company is. But they said full federal court rejects X-Corp's appeal. And they have to pay. The full court ordered them to pay e-safety costs. I don't know about this, okay? So we'll just take it with a grain of salt. And why is FBI Director Kash Patel visiting New Zealand and Australian federal offices? Oversight? Hello? Go for it. Anyway, with that, guys, I'm going to leave it there for today. I should be back with a live tomorrow. Just expecting a few storms at the moment. Yeah, they're going to be on top of us pretty soon, I'm sure. I've still got a ways to go. But anyway, guys, yeah, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. And I'll talk to you. I'll be back tomorrow, live. See you then. Bye, guys.